Yes.
Today's sampling and slicing, which I think Aaron has already been trying, right?
Nice.
And doing a lot of.
Way ahead of the game already.
And sampling and slicing, which you can do in the clips, but you can also do with Simpler. Anybody been using Simpler to slice? Yeah? Brian's been using Simpler to slice. Why do you like sampling? Ideas? Thoughts? It's your own feeling. Why do you like sampling?
I mean, like, you don't have to design everything from scratch. You just take a sample and then that's that.
Yeah, you don't have to design everything from scratch.
So it's easier on the workflow.
Easier on the workflow, you can move in faster. Yeah? Good reason. Anybody else? Other reasons? It's faster for sure. It's also faster to me in capturing the vibe and creating a new vibe. So I'm talking about sampling and slicing, not just sampling alone. Because you can sample, you can take like whole chunks like what we have for the remix song, right? And then we have the whole song there, it is the whole song already. And that will give you part one, you capture the vibe. Because it's already recorded, the artist has already done it, they played the guitar, they sang the song. But if you want to create a new vibe, that's where slicing comes in. So what we're going to need is okay, Simpler, the ring mix pack which we were using last week, and then, or you can get vocal samples from Music Radar. I'm going to put links on the blog. By the way, all these slides are on the blog. So the first thing is I'm going to load Simpler, then find samples and load a beat loop and slice it. So over to Ableton, and in the remix pack that we had, there are these beats. Now remember, before I load in the beats, I make sure that, or any sample stems, remix stems, I always go to preferences and make sure that my warp for auto warp long samples is off. Okay? Because I don't want Ableton to try to auto warp the long sample yet. I want to do it myself. And I know this song, if you remember, this particular song was what speed?
109, I think.
160.
160.
This is the, no, this is not the Spanish song. This is the one which is in the more dubsteppy one.
Oh.
Okay. So here I am. And by the way, I'm in Ableton 10.1, so you see these two buttons, H and W, they adjust the height and the width automatically. Ooh, it fits. Ooh, nice. Okay, never mind.
New function.
10.1 promotion.
Oh.
So this is the beat which it sounds like now. Whoa, that's loud. Okay, let's turn it down a little bit. So that's where the interesting part is, right? Doom ta, doom 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 ta.
The snares are sexy.
You like the snares, right?
Yeah,
Okay, so if you start from where is the part which is more doom 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 ta is. I think it's here, right?
I feel like snake clap together.
Somewhere here. This one. This point here where I put my vertical line, which is halfway between 35 and 36, this is where I got a nice interesting part. So from here, I'm going to use the Control E to break. I'll delete that. So I got Control E. Okay. See, every time I press W, it shows me whatever is left. Ooh, nice. Let me zoom back down. So I can just, and then I press W again. Ooh, now I just zoom in. Cheap thrills. Okay. So let's just grab 2 bars of this thing, right? 2 bars. 2 bars. Now, if I actually work on this, I will find that if I drag it into Simpler, I'll be still dragging the entire song. Because even though you only see 2 bars here, I'll demonstrate to you. I have Simpler loaded up on track 2. If I drag this now into Simpler, actually the whole song is there. This is a bit inefficient. So I'm going to go back to the audio track and I'm going to use this thing, right click, consolidate, or Control J. Okay, Control J to consolidate. It trims it down to exactly only these 2 bars. So now when I go back into Simpler, this track I'm going to rename it Simpler so I can recognize it. If I drag it into Simpler, I only get this. And if I played it the normal way, which is a one shot, so that is playing the whole sample. But what we're going to do is to slice it, right? Let's slice it. I think I can make this louder already, right? Which gives me now it is actually split along the notes of your keyboard, or if I were to use my keyboard here, I need to get down to the which means that if I'm in Simpler, now for those of you who prefer to use step input, I'm going to create a clip here, insert a MIDI clip here, and now I've got a blank clip. Okay, let's see what I can do with this blank clip. Where is the sound? I switch on the headphones so I can hear. Starts at C1 and they are split. I'm going to change the resolution of this to 1/8. So there's 2 bars, right? What's the 2 bars? How many bars did I? Oh, I did 4 bars. No sound already.
Only 12.
Only 12. Okay. Oh yeah, that's right. 12. You can see here. Okay. So I make sure that this loop is only 3 long. Yeah. So let's bring this down again. I'm going to mute this. Basically, I now have the parts that I can do whatever I want to do with. I'm zooming out. So if I wanted to so I now have a I could move this up to here. I could move it down to here. I could move this here. What does it sound like? Who knows? Right? So straight away I can chop up the beat if I like. Now this is, if I just chop up the beat, there's another track which has percussion on it. It's called the percussion. Here, percussion. Let's solo this one and see if there's any interesting parts here. Yep, some interesting parts, right? That's interesting. So why don't I just take that little segment there and those sounds, and I can create for myself a whole interesting split here. Okay, so again, I'm going to consolidate it. Right click, consolidate. Let's insert another MIDI track and another simpler here. Instruments, simpler. And I drag this in. And again, I slice it. You see what slicing does? It slices by default, it slices by transient. So every time there's a peak or trough, which is not always the best way to do it.
Get out of your solo
Okay.
first.
Oh yeah, right. Sometimes it's too sensitive, so you can reduce the sensitivity and then you get less. Or you could, instead of triggering by transient, you can go by beat. Let's say you divide it into every half bar. Also not very, or you could do it manually. Then you decide, I want this part. Then I double click here so that I can have another part. And then another one here, and another one here. And I can always zoom in because I got this magnifying glass. Okay, so these are all the various things. So now basically I can again see one, and I can play whatever I want, right, among these like 8 notes. Because I know now I can nothing there, which will end up with some like really noisy stuff, right? So okay, where's my simpler is here, my simpler is here. Right, if you want IDM, if you want experimental beats, you can now create it, and you now have a set of drum sounds which is totally unique. Okay, so this you can try out. This is slicing beats. Any question yet? Okay, now we're going to slice a riff or a vocal. Now you are wondering how you do melodies, right? I say go to your remix stems, because your remix stems are very good. They have already melodies in them. I'm going to take this one, which is the synth. Hey. W to fit everything. Oh, so convenient. Let's hear what the synths sound like. Okay, what do you want? The first group or the second group? You get to choose.
First.
First one, okay. Let's take the first group. Again, we trim down to this W to, yeah, zoomed in. Let's see where we are. Did I get it right? Let's solo this. Okay, let's add another simpler. Did I consolidate already? Can't remember. Consolidate, okay. Go down simpler, drag this into simpler. And let's do a slice. So now I got switch off. Am I soloed on any track? No. Oh wait, my first one is a blank. This one is blank, right? So I can move in manually and remove things that I do not want. For example, I don't want this. I want I remember this one is blank, huh? Blank. I want the whole sound there. So the sound is it cutting off? So I can, this way I can what has happened here is that I now have a riff which I know 100%. I'm going to change this back to 100% mode because then you can see all the things on the screen. 100% view. Okay, I'm going to turn the volume up. The volume at the bottom right hand corner, I can bring it up, make it a bit louder. The thing about all these notes is these notes will all fit because you know that the original riff fits. When you move around the notes, it also fits. So definitely you already have the notes. You know you cannot go wrong once you play these notes because guaranteed they will fit. Somebody else has done that work. And then you got these nice things like this part is filtered. This way you can also get actual entire samples of riffs because people have sample packs of riffs, right? And you don't want, of course, you don't want to use a sample pack riff because then there's 50 million people who have the same riff. But if you chop it up, basically now you have your own riff. Okay, so this will be the simpler riff and this one will be the simpler percussion and this one up here will be the simpler drum. And I don't need the original some original clips anymore. Okay, the last one I put in is this thing, the vocal. The vocal is here. Hey, sorry, I copied it into the wrong channel. Okay, vocal here. And where does he sing here? He sings about here.
I've been killed, left for dead, now I'm back for they had my revenge of this true night. Been down for counter it out. Block the final counter out. If you're scared, baby, don't look. Cause here comes the war.
Wow, that was accidental, but right. So you get a. So he has.
I've been killed, left for dead, now I'm back for they had my revenge of this true night. Been down for counter it out. Block the final counter out. If you're scared, baby, don't look. Cause here comes the war.
So here, I think this is a very nice, well, okay, not necessarily very nice, but it's a breakdown, right? This is a gap now, right? There's no singing in the original song, but here it goes. This is a great place to put in sliced up vocals, right? Yay, sliced up vocals.
Vocal chops.
So he's got his own vocal chops, but hey, you know, we decide to make our own vocal chops. So we take this part here, and then we Control E to cut it apart, and we use Control J to consolidate. And then I drop in another simpler here. Hey, so many simpler. Simpler is very simple to use. Drag it in here. Click slice. And then this time, instead of using transient or what, I think I shall use manually lah. Okay, from here I'm going to zoom in using the magnifying glass. Okay, so I just click here. Every time I see something which looks like it might be fun, I say
I've been killed, left for dead now.
I've been killing for dinner.
I've been killed, left for dead now.
What is that thing?
I'm back for they had my revenge of this true night. Been down for counter it out. My revenge of this true night. Been down my revenge.
I need to make it.
My revenge. This true night. This true night. This true night. Been down for counter it out. Block the final counter out. Be scared, baby, don't look.
So there's
Here comes the war.
okay, there's a long part here. So
Been down for counter it out.
now
Block
here,
the final counter out.
how you see this thing?
Scared, baby, don't look.
There's this thing called trigger and gate. If I have gate means when I press the note, then the sound comes out.
This true night. This true night.
If I have trigger, once I press, it will play all the way anyway.
This true night. This true night.
So depending on how you want to express the thing, you can play with trigger or gate. Okay, trigger, like I said, so trigger, you press one, you play right through. There has another thing called playback. Playback has an implication. Now, if everything is triggering and the thing is on mono,
This my this not a kid, but not this my and now I'm back my kid, but not this true night.
I don't know whether you notice, but none of these overlap each other because it's in mono mode.
Not this kid, but not my I'm kid, but now kid, but I've been.
So only one sound will play at any time. When you play the next sound, it will it will cut off the other one. If you want the sound to play through, then you push through. Then
This method, now I'm back for the
this plays through the whole sample. This is too long. This is too long. This is too long. Don't
Down for counter,
do that. In between that is stop.
You scared, baby, don't look.
Okay. In between that is this thing called poly mode. Poly mode means you can play two at a time.
Kill them. My revenge, kill them. My revenge is true.
Okay. I think to keep us from getting crazy, mono. We keep it mono.
Scared, baby, don't look. Stay close to the wall. Count it out. Block the final counter out. You scared, baby, don't look. Stay close to the wall.
What is that? Is that?
Stay close to the wall. 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 Yeah, baby, don't look. Yeah, baby, don't look.
Now, you hear the thing cutting off at the end?
Yeah, baby, don't look.
I don't want that thing there, right? So what should I do, you think? I want it to fade out before. Correct, there's a fade out here. And you fade out.
Yeah, baby, don't look.
Fade out a bit more.
Yeah, baby, don't look.
Yeah. The more I fade out, the more you will.
Yeah, baby, don't look. Counter out. Block the final. Block the final.
Too much, it's affecting the others. But never mind, I will show you a way of dealing with this fade out problem after this.
I've been killing dead for this truth, and down for kill left this true night.
Okay, let's see what it sounds like if we turn this into the bridge. Ooh. So yes.
Block the final counter out. You scared, baby, don't look. Stay close to the wall. My revenge, down for this count now. This true, this now. Count for that, this true now. Kill them now. My revenge, kill
I can do it on the keyboard. What did you just say?
No, I don't need no help or anybody else.
Sometimes it can be quite ridiculous. So, can? Now, there's one more thing. You can right click and you can slice it to a drum rack. When you slice it to a drum rack, you end up with this.
Yeah, baby, don't look. Stay close to the wall.
So I now have individual pads for every chunk, right? And so that one which had that part which I wanted to fade out, no problem, I can just do it here. It doesn't affect the rest. And I got
I've been killed on this and blocking nothing for that. Block out my this and down for.
and you could add things like add reverb to individual pads. Okay, so this is what. Okay, last thing I show you is simpler. We take the vocal. Does he have a part where he sings actually?
You scared, baby, don't look. Cause here comes the Lord.
I'm taking just this part and I'm going to drag it into simpler, but this time instead of using the slice mode, I'm going to use the one shot mode. I'm also going to okay, if I play here on the push on the keyboard, turn the volume up. Yeah, so you already have a melody. This is a very common thing that people do, right? They take a chunk, one particular vowel or consonant or one syllable, that people are singing, and then they take it and then they turn it into an instrument. Now, if you play on the keyboard, your difficulty is that, and then if you try transposing, it's too high. You need to transpose. If you're playing on the computer keyboard, you need to go up to 5 so that the middle is the what? Sorry. So that your middle key, the G. So if you use a transpose plus 5, then your G will be the. Then your up and down notes will. Right. So this will allow you to play a solo during the break. So this is how you chop it, and this is when you are in, I show you again, one shot mode. Okay, and if you're playing on a computer keyboard, transpose plus 5 so that the middle note G is the original note. Here again you can use trigger and gate. See trigger and gate? Yeah, so this allows you to do that, and I can of course fade in, fade out. Okay, so this is sampling and slicing. You select the riff, you control E, control J, load in the simpler, and then you select slice mode, or if you're doing vocal chops, you use the classic or one shot mode. Some ideas you can cut the vocal before a transition. You notice I chose low note. He's actually doing 2 notes, right? Yeah, that gives you more. You can do more interesting things with that, and you can also add reverb, echo, delay, chorus. That you can do on your own. Okay. So the only thing left to do is your turn to try.
Yeah.
Yay. Okay.
Hang on, I threw out the question. Just
Yes,
now
question.
the simpler when you were playing the higher the note, the faster the simple. What if you don't want it to go fast or slow?
Very good question. Okay, let's go back to the simpler. Right now, Brian notice, right?
Yeah.
Now because of physics, right?
Because of physics.
Yeah, this is physics one.
Yep.
So he's spotted a very important thing.
Switching the wave.
Use warp. Warp will make it. Okay. Now it sounds a bit jagged because we are warping, we're preserving the transients. Warp. Can we preserve the transients? Let's see if we can preserve the 1 bar.
This sounds slow.
Okay, I didn't go back to transients, no choice. I know, instead of beats mode, go to complex mode. Complex mode. So you know that if you play 2 notes that are apart, they'll still play at the same speed. Fingers crossed. Pitch bend, by the way, if you have a keyboard now with the pitch bend like the CME X key, or you can draw in pitch bend on the clip using automation. Thanks for the question. Okay, any more questions? In that case, your turn to try.